Hi, how you doing? And welcome back to another video on the channel. Just got the one video this week because we're merging it free hit video with the preview because my free hit team in this video is my actual team that I'm thinking I'm going to put forward for this game week. I've already played the free hit chip for game week 32. So let's get into it. And whilst we're getting the team up on the board, if you are new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated on the road to 60 subscribers. So hopefully we can, reach that before the end of the season. So this is my team for this game week that's just gone, and how they did. And at least from the defence, we were consistent, if nothing else. Bit disappointing that James started on the bench. And no one else could really do anything either. And the midfield didn't get much better, to be honest. I did transfer out Odegaard for Grealish. Grealish did get 7 points. Odegaard's looking like he's getting 10. And I've also brought in Sabitzer, who was looking like an all right transfer, but he got injured in the warm up for today's game, which obviously wasn't great. And it means I've got Trippier's 1 point coming off the bench as well. Saka unfortunately missed a penalty, and it's one of those things where if he'd have scored a penalty, scored the pen, that's probably one of those 8 point swings that you get on the odd game week, which could have gone either way. Had pretty good track record with Saka anyway this season, so I guess he was overdue for something like this. And up front, all I will say is thank goodness for Haaland. I learned from not having Haaland at all earlier in the season. They put me in a real hole in terms of my progress. So I learned to captain him more often than not. And, wow, if I hadn't captained Haaland, I would really be looking at a big red arrow this game week. As it stands, just about 100k red arrow, which isn't ideal. You obviously want to always be making that progress, and it makes it sort of two red arrows, very small red arrows, but two red arrows in a row after about 13, 14 game weeks of green arrows. So I would like to get back to the green arrows sooner rather than later, especially given that we're running out of time before the end of the season. My main concern at the moment, as I'm recording this video on Sunday night, is that we've still got Salah to play against Leeds on Monday, and I would not be surprised if he gets a massive score against Leeds either. So, with the free hit in mind, which teams should you be targeting this game week? So, we're going to look at really the two teams you should be targeting, Arsenal and Liverpool. Both have home games, both are playing teams that are in the relegation zone or thereabouts. And I really think that if you're free hitting going to game week 32, you really need about 5 or 6 players from these teams. I don't really know why you would not have three from Arsenal and three from Liverpool, to be honest. I think they are the must get in teams. And really, if you're looking at a captaincy option, it's hard to look past Salah unless obviously an injury or suspension happens before the next game week. So yeah, other than that, really Newcastle and Spurs kind of cancelling each other out. Not too sure who you'd captain from there, and everyone else is kind of like middle of the league. You've got Palace, Brentford, Fulham, Leicester all at home, Bournemouth at home, and the teams are playing. Yeah, you might want a couple of other players from Aston Villa, but they are the away team there as well. So on to my team. This is my actual free hit team that I've got so far, and I am sticking in goal with the Leicester goalkeepers. Really, the reason for that is because they're very cheap, allow me to get in players elsewhere, and I also don't want to waste a goalkeeper position on an Arsenal player or a Liverpool player. I'd rather have those three players from each of those teams outfield where they can also contribute for attacking returns. Leicester have Wolves at home, and whilst Leicester are a bit of a nightmare at the moment, Wolves aren't necessarily scoring that freely. So a clean sheet maybe isn't the craziest thing to think about going into this game week. In defence, we've got double Liverpool defenders in Trent and Van Dijk. I do think they are the best options going forward for Liverpool as well. They are playing Nottingham Forest at home, who are on a bad run of form. I think if they were playing Nottingham Forest away, although Nottingham Forest didn't score against Man United today, they have got quite a good track record of scoring at home. So I think I would maybe be more reluctant if Liverpool were playing Forest away. But since it's at Anfield, I do think that it's quite a safe bet that they would get a clean sheet, or as safe a bet as you can have with any of the teams playing this game week for a clean sheet. Um, Elsewhere in defence, I've gone with Sufal. He's back from injury for West Ham, and although West Ham are struggling for clean sheets and they're playing Bournemouth away, he is quite cheap. about 4.4, 4.5 million, and it does enable you to get in some more expensive players around your squad. And he's quite an attacking fullback as well. I'm not saying he'll get an assist against Bournemouth, but Bournemouth's defence are not the best. So there might be those chances, especially out wide. And then rounding out the defence, we've gone with Ben White. Got another assist this game week. They are playing Southampton at home, so I would say whilst Arsenal's clean sheets have not been very visible recently, I would say that Southampton at home is the sort of time where if you were going to keep a clean sheet, it is going to be against them. Into midfield, and I am sticking with Saka, even though he's missed that penalty today. The point is that he got a penalty and he had a chance to score, and more often than not, he will take those chances. I've also gone with Martinelli. Now, I think whilst they're a little bit of rotation risk for Arsenal, if they are playing, they would be the favourites to be amongst the goals, which is what we're looking for in fantasy league. So I think it's not high risk, but it's medium risk, high reward really. I think they are two players that, Arsenal could very easily score 3 or 4 goals against Southampton. I would expect both of these players to be involved. And like we spoke about before, I've gone with Salah as well. The captain's armband will probably be on Salah. That Nottingham Forest game at home, I think it is one where Liverpool could, kind of click into gear and take advantage of Nottingham Forest heads being down a little bit. And like Arsenal, get 3 or 4 goals. You never even know, maybe a couple more. Up front we go, and I'm going to talk about sort of Kane, Tony, and Watkins. I've avoided having Watkins in my team this season, really because he's been going for 1 goal or 1 assist a game and been ticking over quite nicely. And I've had Haaland, Tony, and Kane pretty much since the World Cup, and they've also been scoring quite regularly as well. So I've not really been missing out on Watkins scoring points because my strikers have been matching that, and I can't fit in a fourth striker. So until this game week when Watkins scored 2 goals and an assist, that's where it started sort of hurting me a bit more because Tony and Kane both blanked. Now, whether you want to maybe swap Tony out for someone like Solanke, who has West Ham at home, I think that would also be a good option. But I would say Watkins and Kane are probably players you would have in your team, despite them being both playing away from home. In terms of on the bench, I do think that you don't need a deep bench this game week. Sure, if you can have them playing, if the players that are going to play, that's great. But they should really be cheap options on your bench because you only need them for 1 game week. I'd say that that first spot on your bench should be someone that can contribute. And I think Ramsey is someone who can do that for Aston Villa. He's playing and Villa are on form, and he's on form. But you're picking a team for 1 game week, isolating that game week. So you shouldn't really have a situation where you need to go 2, 3 deep on your bench. Your real focus and your transfer funds should be in your starting 11 with that 12th man there if you need them. So let me know what you think about my team. You could quite easily swap Soufal for Ramsey and put Soufal on the bench. Or, you might want to swap out someone like Tony for Solanke if you think Aston Villa are going to bring their form to Brentford. If you've got any questions, let me know. Put it in the comments. Thank you for all the support on the channel. It is greatly appreciated. And good luck if you are free hitting in this game week. Like I said, would go for triple up on Liverpool and Arsenal just for this game week. And then we'll see how it goes from there. So thank you very much for listening, and I will see you in the next one.